Welcome everyone, I'm Jessica McCann, a senior consultant at Franklin Covey, and I'm thrilled you have joined this on-demand webcast, The 7 Habits Effect, Unlock Potential, Unleash Results. Today, you'll get a brief overview of Franklin Covey's reimagined 7 Habits of Highly Effective People course. Over the years, Franklin Covey has become the world leader in helping organizations achieve results that require lasting changes in human behavior, which is often the most difficult challenge any organization faces. When accomplished, it can also be an organization's most durable competitive advantage. For more than 35 years, the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People have been nothing short of revolutionary in this space. It is commonly recognized as the top leadership training resource for developing interpersonal skills, trusted by organizations of all sizes ranging from small businesses to global enterprises. Both the book and our workshops have been the most influential of all time, with over 50 million books sold, making it the best-selling business book ever. While The 7 Habits is indeed a timeless classic, we've reimagined it for modern leaders and workers. In today's rapidly changing world where technology evolves daily and AI is at the forefront, human interpersonal skills have become more critical than ever. Recent research shows that interpersonal skills, often called power skills or soft skills, are increasingly the competitive advantage. With that in mind, let's pause for a moment and reflect on your own organization. Ask yourself, what challenges with interpersonal skills do I see in my organization? How do these challenges affect my organization's success? Common challenges might include poor communication or decreased team morale and engagement. These issues and others that you might be thinking of can impact more than just performance. They often impact how people connect and contribute at work. Considering these challenges and their potential impact, what percentage of your organization would you say demonstrates excellent interpersonal skills consistently? Those you are thinking about represent what we call the pocket of greatness. They show up on this bell curve. They are the ones you wish everyone was like. On this curve, we also see a pocket of the slowest adopters of a new skill, sometimes viewed as never changing. We hope they are far and few between. Additionally, you will find many wonderful individuals and teams in the middle. While this curve has significant variability, we don't want to accept the shape as a given. Great organizations find a way to institutionalize the right mindsets, skill sets, and behaviors to move the collective group brighter and tighter. In your own organization, what would be the impact if more of your people had greater interpersonal skills? In other words, what would happen if they were more effective? That is what we mean by the 7 Habits effect. It's the tangible impact that helps people and organizations unlock potential and unleash results. It provides a proven, common language that builds the muscle of interpersonal skills, also known as emotional intelligence, that can foster relationships and synergy across your entire organization. Now, let me introduce you to the Maturity Continuum, Dr. Stephen R. Covey's powerful framework that grows our mastery in interpersonal effectiveness. It begins with the 3 progressions of growth. Dependence. This is where you need others to tell you what to do and struggle to take responsibility for your choices or actions. When we learn to take more responsibility, we begin the journey to intentionally move towards independence. Although independence is good, when we are here, we tend to believe we are most effective when we lock ourselves in an office and try to accomplish everything all by ourselves. While this might sometimes feel like the best route, it often isn't, especially for trying to be more effective. As we recognize this, we move to interdependence. This is where we believe that together we can create something better than any of us could do alone. The 7 habits guide us through this journey. We will briefly introduce the habits and then take a deeper look at a few of them. Habit 1, be proactive, the habit of choice. This is where we say things like, I'm not always going to blame others. I am responsible for my own life. I have the power to choose. When I realize that I have the power of choice, then I will choose more purposefully. With habit 2, begin with the end in mind. The habit of purpose, where I say I will proactively choose who I want to be and where I want to go. If you're choosing where you're going and what you want to do, then you need to make sure you do it. This is why we need habit 3, put first things first, the habit of focus. This is where you take action on the most important things consistently and with quality to proactively meet your vision and end in mind every day. Mastery of the first 3 habits comprises what is called the private victory, where you've gained the skills of independence. This is a new level or responsibility. You are seen as proactive, purposeful, and focused. And while the private victory is necessary, it is insufficient by itself. To be truly effective, we need to build real relationships with others. This is where we arrive at interdependence, which is built through the next 3 habits. Habit 4, think win-win, the habit of abundance, where we engage with others. We learn the skill of consciously and proactively thinking less about always competing and more about cooperating. When we have an attitude of win-win, we organically aspire to habit 5. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. The habit of respect. We really care about others, and we want to hear and understand what they think and feel about things before expressing our point of view. If we care about mutual benefit and we are listening well, we have evolved to habit 6, synergize, the habit of creative collaboration. We become proactively open to valuing differences and working toward a better solution by sharing ideas and possibilities together. We have now achieved the public victory. We've reached interdependence through abundance, respect, and collaboration. However, none of this gets done well unless we master habit 7, sharpen the saw, the habit of renewal. Stephen R. Covey warned that as accessible as the habits are, if you do not have a process to take care of yourself, it is very hard to be able to execute on the first 6 habits. If you think of being on an airplane where they say, put your oxygen mask on first, so you are then able to take care of others, that is exactly what we're saying here. These habits work together to create a culture of interdependence, collaboration, and ultimately amazing results. So, if this is all about behavior change, the question becomes, how do we get people to really change their behavior? How many of you have tried to change your own behavior? Someone else's behavior? Maybe even a lot of someone else's behavior. It's tough. Stephen R. Covey's research around paradigms, how we see the world, is the game changer. This is one of his famous quotes on the topic. If we want to make relatively minor changes in our lives, we can focus on our behaviors. But if we want to make significant quantum change, we need to work on our paradigms. To bring this idea of paradigms to life, let's take a look at a short video from the course. As you watch, consider asking yourself what paradigms you might have at this point in your life.
現代社会では次々に物事が起こります。奇跡的に便利になったこともありますが、依然不確実なこともあります。その不確実さが私たち自身のパラダイムで埋められていくのです。パラダイムとは自分が思い込む物語であり、私たちが世界を見るレンズを表しています。パラダイムを通して自分たちのこと、周りの出来事を解釈しています。パラダイムによっては経験する物事を否定的、消極的に捉えてしまうかもしれません。忍耐力や理解力を低下させ、手にできるチャンスを制限します。人間関係にも影響を与えます。しかし、物事を違った角度から見ようとすれば、全く違う世界が見えてきます。 他人の置かれた状況を想像してみるだけで見えるものが変わることもあります。それがパラダイムに変化をもたらすのです。
Research on paradigms prompted the creation of the see, do, get model. When we gain clarity on what we see, it significantly impacts what we choose to do, and in turn, changes the results we get. What paradigms might be limiting your effectiveness? What paradigms could enhance your effectiveness? Let's dive deeper into 2 of these habits to give you a taste of the full experience. We'll start with habit 1, be proactive. The common paradigm for habit 1 is, this is the way things are, and there's not much I can do about it. This leads to helplessness, where we become passive rather than active. A more effective paradigm is, I have the power to choose my response. Can you feel the energy change in this more effective paradigm? When we accept responsibility for our responses, we can choose our path forward. Habit 1 is built on 3 practices that give us that power. Practice 1, pause and respond. There's a space between stimulus and response where we have the freedom to choose. When you take a moment to pause, you give yourself the chance to choose how to respond. Even when you're in a situation where you can't step away, pausing for 10 seconds can give you the space you need to choose a more proactive response. Practice 2, focus on your circle of influence. This concept distinguishes between our circle of concern, things that we worry about but can't control, and our circle of influence, things we can do something about. If we spend our energy, effort, and focus on things we can't control, our circle of influence can actually shrink. When we focus on our circle of influence, we become more proactive and effective, and our influence grows. Practice 3, use proactive language. The words we use reflect our thoughts and influence our actions. Proactive language sounds like, I can, I will, I prefer. While reactive language sounds like, I can't, I have to, if only. A simple exercise to help you shift from reactive to proactive is using this sentence structure. I may not be able to, but I can. So for example, I may not be able to change the past, but I can learn from it. Take a moment to write your own statement pairing, something that concerns you with an action that you can take. This can help increase your influence and effectiveness. Habit 1, be proactive, gives us the personal foundation to begin proactively moving from dependence to independence. Now, let's look at interdependence, which requires awareness of how our actions affect others. It starts with having a win-win mindset, developed in habit 4. If we have that, we are prepared to move on to habit 5, seek first to understand, then to be understood. This habit is crucial for building strong relationships and effective communication. To start exploring habit 5, let's observe the idea of awareness, or even the lack thereof, as we watch this video.
ただいま。
おかえり、平。ちょっと待って。話があるんじゃない？
特にないけど。
ピアノのグロッス先生から電話があって、練習不足だって。
そうかもね。
ママが今のあなたぐらいの年の頃、ピアノを習いたくて仕方なかったの。
頑張ってるけど、好きじゃないんだ。
やりたくないからって、すぐ諦めちゃダメでしょ。
難しいし、それにグロッス先生。
ほら、言い訳する暇があったら、少しは練習したら？弾いてるうちに好きになるわ。
今から？
ええ、今よ。
So why did communication break down? What impact did the interaction potentially have on their relationship? One of the deepest needs as human beings is the desire to be understood. This is what Habit 5 is about. It's about creating meaningful connections with others, and it brings us closer to interdependence. The common paradigm in this habit is, I need to get my point across. We often filter everything through our own experiences and quickly jump to giving advice or sharing our own story. The more effective paradigm is to communicate effectively with you, I need to understand you first. The key practices in Habit 5 are 1, listen empathically, and 2, respectfully seek to be understood. We will touch briefly on the first practice, listen empathically, for today's overview. Stephen R. Covey summarized the challenge and opportunity of this practice by saying, most people don't listen with the intent to understand. They listen with the intent to reply. When we listen with the intent to reply, we find ourselves practicing autobiographical listening. This is where we are in the common paradigm of trying to get our point across. It centers us on our own story, my experiences, my values, my perspectives. This is where we turn their story into ours. And often it's not on purpose, it's by default. This shows up when we are quick to evaluate, probe, interpret, or advise. When we choose to move toward the more effective paradigm, we find ourselves practicing empathic listening. This is when we choose to create space for others to share their perspective and emotions. We listen solely with the intent to understand. We see their perspective and situation apart from our own. When we are practicing this skill, we find ourselves honoring their words, checking or reflecting on the feelings being shared, giving time to process what is being said, and wondering or asking questions to learn more. The skills in this habit and practice can dramatically improve our connections with others. It offers opportunity to help people feel valued and understood, which in turn strengthens relationships and improves collaboration. How could Habit 5, seek first to understand, then to be understood, impact your team, your relationships, or even your organization as a whole? Habit 1 and Habit 5 were meant to give you a taste, but we've barely scratched the surface. The impact of implementing the 7 habits can be profound. Organizations report improved teamwork, increased productivity, better communication, and more innovative problem solving. On an individual level, people experience greater work-life balance, enhanced leadership skills, and increased personal effectiveness. To implement the 7 habits in your organization, Franklin Covey offers flexible deployment options through the All Access Pass subscription. This includes diagnostics, where we start with a 360-degree assessment to establish a baseline. The core experience that can be delivered through facilitated sessions, either in person or online, or through self-paced on demand, and ongoing reinforcement, where we provide micro-learning modules, weekly tips, newsletters, and coaching to ensure that the habits stick. We can customize your journey for different levels of leadership and scale it across your entire organization. In closing, I want to emphasize that the 7 Habits isn't just a training program. It's a proven framework for unlocking potential and unleashing performance. By implementing these timeless principles, you can create a culture of effectiveness that drives success at all levels of your organization. To bring the 7 Habits into your organization or connect with someone from Franklin Covey, please click the link on your screen. Thank you for your time and engagement today. We look forward to connecting with you again soon.